So what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe my walk, and I'm going to keep my eyes closed so I'm not reading anything. From 317 Laurel Avenue to Ropes and Harrington Park down in Marin. Okay? And I'll do it forward and I'll do it backward because CIA said that when people are lying, they can't remember things forward and backwards. So I'm going to just show you. And I'm going to go from the left. So if I'm going down the stairs from 317 Laurel, where I used to live and is on public record for my parents living there, and I'm heading towards the left, towards the park, not towards the right, which would be towards Fairfax. I'm going left, and now there's certain things that might be subject to change, but I'm going to tell you what it was. Like paint colors and stuff. The house next to us to the left was, the house on the right was like sprawled out ranch, more ranch style. It was a larger house, larger property. They had a large backyard and a large front yard, gated. The one to the right didn't have a gate, and it goes up the stairs to get to the front door. At the time it was multiple colors, like olives and wine stains and stuff. They could paint it at any point, so that's maybe not helpful. So that was there, and they too have a backyard as well that divides with the fence. Okay. If you're walking, something to note is that the houses on my side of the street were flat on the ground. The houses across the street were up on a slight hill. And this hill, things were lifted. The houses were lifted a little bit to form out for this hill. Something to know. And at the time, across the street, but slightly to the left and up on the hill, the color could change, a white wooden house, and it had stairs, and it had wood on the side. Okay. And as you're walking, more houses, and there's a fairly distinct rock wall that goes like this, and it rounds the corner. Now at the time when I was living there, again, these things are subject to change, but there was a bunch of bushes in the way. And okay, and then that's on the corner of the street, still on my side of the street. Now if you're standing there at the corner and you're looking across the street from where I was, up on the hill is a red wood house, like probably actually literally redwood, but at the time it was painted a dark red as well. And it's up further on the hill. And there was a carport below. And actually it's really weird and slightly creepy because there's a tombstone down at the bottom near their property there, and it's from like the 1800s. And actually, if you keep walking in that direction on that side of the street instead of turning where I need to go to the park, there's more down there. I don't know if it's not quite an official cemetery, but it's kind of weird that they have these old things. I used to look at them and get kind of creeped out sometimes. If you're rounding the corner, so not going that direction, rounding the corner around this rock wall, there's a house on the corner, but you can't really see it because there's a gate. There was at least a gate. And I don't know who lived there, but they always played piano. Okay. Then if you keep walking straight, the rock wall continues, and then it's there. There's a regular wall part that kind of patches, and there's a carport or driveway or something right there, a little enclosed gate area. And you keep walking down, and you're passing houses. And now these things again are subject to change, but on the corner you can either go right up a hill, and that's going to go along Ropes and Harrington Park, and there's going to be a long wall going all the way up, and there's going to be trees and stuff, and that's going to be one side of the street is just this park. Okay, and there's a house on the very corner of that too, but it also has a gate. And at some point, but I don't remember who it was, but there was someone around my age that lived there, but I didn't know him. But I think he must have gone to a different school. I didn't know him. officially. Okay. And there are private schools and stuff there. That's an option. On the corner towards the park, so it would have been my side of the street, there is I don't know if they could change the house color, but a blue house. And they had those roses, I don't know what you call them, but they're kind of fake roses. They're not really roses because they don't have thorns, but they're kind of like roses. You know what I'm talking about? They had those, and their plants the petals used to fall, and I used to collect them sometimes because they'd fall in big piles, and it was really cool. Anyway, so if you go across the street from that first house in the corner is the opening of the park if you're coming from that side. There's multiple openings. Now, if you walk into the park, it's going to have pavement on the ground, and it's going to have, there's a tree. It opens up to a field, and there's a tree, again, subject to change, but I think it's still there, a tree in that sort of, I don't want to say center because it's not quite center, but center-ish area, and there's a bench there. Now to the left of that is another tree and a bench. Okay, and down from there is a bunch of redwood trees and more benches for eating. And that doesn't have grass exactly around the redwood trees, but the rest has grass. Down to and there's rock wall all around this. Not all around, but a lot of it has rock wall. But it's more, you'll see. There's tons of rocks, like rock ruins. But down and to the right is a good example of that. And it has a fire pit and like a cookie, if you want to have a cookout or something, it's already prepared for you. It's pretty awesome, and it's big. And there's multiple pits that you can fry up your whatever it is that you're making. And just be careful on time here. Okay. And that it's like kind of an old ruin style wall. And it's red, mostly red, the stones. And they're funny, they're kind of jagged, it's not like a perfectly smooth wall. And there are multiple like plots to Ropes and Harrington. So if you're going in, say, from the fire pit side, now if you're on the street, it's not, I don't want to call it a dead end, but it kind of is. You have no choice but to go into the park if you're going to keep walking that way. And it ropes around, so it goes like this into another neighborhood. But then there's the main road, and it goes like this, but it ultimately gets to the same spot, which is downtown. And I could go, I guess I'll tell you about the park too, and then I'll go back down. So there's multiple plots, and if, let's say you're walking from that side near the fire pit, which is distant from my house, if I have to keep going straight, you can walk up these stairs, and it's very shady, and there's different lifts like this, and there's onion grass that grows there, and it smells kind of. And if you keep walking up, there's it was a swing set where I used to go as a little kid. Now it's just the poles. It doesn't have the swing set anymore. But what's weird about it is there's like a little hole, and it's kind of got like a little cubby, and I was wondering if homeless people lived in there. There's like stuff because they have locks, so I don't know what all they're keeping in there. But let's say you went all the way up that plot, you're gonna notice there's community gardens in the center there, and they're allowed to do that. You're allowed to, I don't know where you sign up or anything, but to go and if you don't have a garden of your own, to go and grow things there. So you see a lot of things growing their tomatoes, and there's some wild stuff on its own as well, wild fruit trees that no one's claiming or anything on that as well. If you keep going up, it's going to open up to a palm tree and beautiful flowers, and I mean, really, this is a really, really beautiful park. And there's a lawn, and there's the Robeson house, and it's a Victorian, and it's not a private property. It's sort of like a community center of sorts. Okay, now I'll do it reverse so that you know. Let's say you're leaving out that side. To the left is a really big property, It is a very big property, and I used to walk that way to school, and it is huge, and sometimes when my dog was bad and she'd squeeze under and she'd run on the lawn. Don't be mad at me. They have a huge lawn, and it just sweeps. It's a massive property. It's quite fucking beautiful. And across the street from there are redwoods. Those people have a lot of redwoods on their side. And on Halloween, sometimes they used to put eyes, paper eyes, on the trees to make it creepy. So let's say you're going away from where I just described and back up past the sidewalk. Now the sidewalk's going to go like this, and it's a little bit cracked. It was at least a little bit cracked in some spots because it's sort of at an awkward angle as it's going over this little hill. And then you go at the very top of that point, there's two divisions, and you can go left where I just described, or you can go right. But either way is going to take you to Wade Thomas School, which is just, it's like this. You go, here's the community Robeson area. Here's the street with the long wall that I described initially. To the left is the big property. To the right is the other way. And either way, it's going to hit Wade Thomas. Okay. So if we're going, I'll go a different direction because CIA said you can't know it if it's backwards or whatever. So if you're going the other way, starting from the Robeson house, going down that hill, what you're going to see is nothing much. Gates. Gates across the street, there's residential, and the rest is not residential because it's the park. And there's a wall, and it's steep. I know because I got in trouble for throwing acorns at cars and stuff. And if you keep going down, then you're going to see that blue house, and it's going to have maybe possibly those fake roses. Yeah, I shouldn't say they're fake. If you're looking straight ahead into the distance, there's another property, and at least at the time it was all white, and there was wisteria up on it, okay? Now, and it was big, and it was up on a bigger hill that we could see over Robeson Harrington. Now, if you go left, down back to my house, then you're going to go walk down, you're going to pass the green, well, it was green, little carport thing, and you're going to pass the wall, and then looking directly up is going to be the red wooden house, and then you're going to go, oh, and there's a spot that you can see through the bushes, and you could see if my mom's car was there in case she was home, and it was how I know if I had to breathe easy or hard when I got home, if she was home or not. You could totally see her car through those bushes, and I would spy when I was walking back. And you round the wall, and it's going to still continue because their property is a little bit big. Hey, kitten. And you're going to keep going down, and then you're going to pass on the left is that house up on the hill that was wood and had the wood paneling stuff, and on the right is my neighbor's house, and was my neighbor's house, and it has a stairway up into the front door, and it goes for a ways back, and there's a gate dividing those two properties, and on the other side as well, and on the other further back as well. And if you keep going, let's say you walk past my house would be on the right then. And if you keep going, you're going to pass the ranch style house, and then that's going to be on the corner. And then there's a stop sign. And if you, let's say you go the corner, because sometimes I would, you walk that way. If you keep going this way, you're going to hit Fairfax eventually, but it's going to take you a little bit if you're walking. 15 minutes, something like that, not so bad. And if you round like the corner, like go like this, like to my house, and then to go like this, back towards the park, sort of. There's like a nursery. I didn't go there, but there's like a nursery for children on that way, and the rest is residential. And if you keep walking around that corner and then you go like this, you're gonna hit the convenience store in the start of the downtown area. But really, if you just go in any direction near that park and past it, you're gonna hit downtown in some way. Because I live there. Oh, my eyes were closed, and CIA did it front and back.